Hi everyone, this is Aviva Fisher and I am a structured literacy teacher certified Orton Gillingham through CIRI and IMSE. I am making this video today because a lot of parents during this time of COVID learning are really having to take a greater responsibility for their children's education than they originally had even 6 months ago. And as we're approaching the school year, more and more conversations on my Facebook pages that are for supporting dyslexic families is talking about trying to figure out what your starting point is for helping to educate your child. I'm really only going to discuss the phonemic awareness part of it because whatever program you use, if it's Orton Gillingham based, should have a placement test already built in. So you should be able to know where to start with that. Orton Gillingham was developed in the 1930s. So Orton Gillingham has been a tried and true program. It really, truly is life-changing. It's been life-changing for me. It's been life-changing for my 3 dyslexic children. It's been life-changing for the children that I've tutored. It has a limitation though, and this is the limitation. As they were going through this fabulous program, they would see that it would work with almost every student, but there was still this group, this student that really struggled, even with Orton Gillingham instruction, to really be able to crack that reading code. And scientists being what they are, and teachers being what they are, they started to question who they are. They started to question, what is the missing piece? Over the last 20, 30 years, what has developed is a whole field of science that centers around this concept of phonemic awareness, the ability of a person to manipulate the sounds in their language. It means that they're recognizing, they're hearing all the sounds, they can change them around, they can do things like that are important in our language, like rhyme, because we are a rhythmic kind of syllable stress language. And so they found out that these kids that were really struggling, and I can hear from the sadness and frustration in a lot of the posts, these are the kids I'm talking about. The kids, even with instruction that is explicit and multisensory and structured and sequential and all those lovely things that Orton Gillingham is, are still missing a very important piece, and that piece is the phonemic awareness. They're not hearing, they're not in tune to the sounds of our language. And if you can't be in tune to the sounds of our language, it's so much harder to be able to then assign a letter to represent that sound. It makes so much sense when you think about it that way, but it was a piece of the puzzle that really was missing until about 20 years ago. So we have a couple of people who are considered gods within the realm of phonemic awareness. One is a person by the name of Haggerty, and another one is Kilpatrick. Now, for me, Kilpatrick is beautiful because it works on creating an automaticity. All of the other phonemic awareness programs work on skill building. Kilpatrick really works on trying to build that skill until it's automatic, which is fabulous. But for a lot of the kids, that's a more advanced skill. To be able to take a look and find out where your child is in phonemic awareness and how to attack it, I would really recommend going to Haggerty's website. Now, Haggerty has passed away. He was a school teacher for many, many years, and he is the one who kept on saying, but there are these kids that still aren't getting it, and what did they do? So I'm going to show you, first of all, where you need to go in order to download the Haggerty Phonemic Awareness Skills Test. And then I'm going to show you kind of a little bit about how you would understand the manual that comes with it, okay? It's not rocket science, it just takes a little bit of time to get figured out, okay? So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to your Chrome, your browser. I use Chrome. And you're going to actually take a look and Google Haggerty Phonemic Awareness, or Phonemic Awareness Assessment. Okay. When you go to Haggerty, the first time it's going to ask you for your information to be able to put you on their mailing list. You can always opt out later if you don't want to. You go down to their downloads. So you go Haggerty, downloads, and you scroll down a little bit. They've given you some sample lessons here that we'll go through, but the one you really want to start with is assessment. And this is a lovely, thorough assessment because this assessment actually starts in your pre-K, kindergarten, first grade, and then they have a screener for second grade and above. So you want to pick the one that most accurately fits your child. If you have a child who is going into kindergarten, use the kindergarten assessment. If you find that that one's too hard, you can always go back down to the preschool one, but don't assume that just because your child is in third grade and is still struggling and is struggling a lot, you should go to the first grade assessment. Do the one that's appropriate for you, and that will give you an accurate view of where they are in relationship to their peers. And when it comes to instruction, you can always go slower and you can always lengthen each particular segment. So each one of the nice thing about Haggerty is that every single one of his books, whether it's the preschool, the kindergarten, or the primary one, which is for second grade and above, all cover the same skills, but the amount of time that it takes for each skill is longer with the preschool versus the kindergarten. So for example, recognizing rhyme might be several weeks in a preschool curriculum, but recognizing rhyme in these primary may only be a week. So they will move forward through some of those earlier skills a lot faster, and it'll just be a clip, clip, clip kind of review. So you can always go back and get you can assess at your child's current level. And then what you're going to do is you're going to then decide where you want to start with instruction. If they're really struggling in the second grade and above screener, then start with your kindergarten, first grade primer. If they're a kindergartner and they're struggling in the kindergarten, first grade, start with your preschool primer. If you have a preschooler, you start with the preschool. It's easy for you. You start with the preschool primer. So if you click on one of these, I'm just going to go ahead and click on the kindergarten one. Oh, look, I do have to put it in. Okay. You can download all of these onto your computer. Basically what you do is you're going to take a look and you're going to read the directions. Each one is going to be very, very, very clear. And if you need specific examples of how to administer, if you go to YouTube and just look up administration of Haggerty phonemic awareness assessment, you will find people who have put very good videos on YouTube for it. But it'll say, for example, the first one is rhyme recognition. What you're looking for is you'll say two words, they will repeat, and they'll let you know thumbs up, thumbs down, yes or no, that they rhyme. So hen, pen, yes. Nap, map, yes. Rock, made, no. And what you're looking for, and it will tell you in each one of these, you're just going to tell how many did they get correct. And that's really going to tell you. The assessments themselves are very, very, very straightforward. It is the difficult thing is sometimes just trying to be able to figure out where you need to be able to then start. So once you go to Haggerty and you've done your phonemic awareness assessment, then you really can see what their skills really are, and then be able to decide if you need to start with a preschool primer, a kindergarten, first grade primer, or the second grade and above primer. The second grade, so what I have right now, I have my kindergarten curriculum with me, and I'm just going to show you really quickly what it looks like. It comes in a big, huge book, and there you go. It's brought up now. So it's a big, huge book here. And basically, this is the kindergarten curriculum, 2020 edition. And what you're going to be looking for is you're going to see that each one, so it goes through a lot of information about the phonemic awareness skills, what they are and everything. It goes through its scope and sequence as well. So you can compare kind of how, if you really see a child is mastering a particular skill, you can always try to up that in complexity for that particular skill, or you can see exactly where you need to go back to be able to remediate a particular skill. And then at the very afterwards, after all of the wonderful, lovely information, it will give you your lesson plan for the week. So this is a 5-day lesson plan. If you don't have 5 days, then that's okay. You can either slow it down so that you make sure you cover everything, or because in these first two books, they still go pretty slow. If you're getting 3 days, I'd say, you can probably go ahead and go on to the next week, especially if they're not showing any difficulties. So for example, you would have the first one is being able to segment skills. Actually, I believe, sorry, this is page 2 of 3. The very first one is rhyme repetition. You're going to do hop, mop, yes. Ran, fan, yes. And I'm sorry, this is, yeah, repetition. So they're actually just going to be repeating for you on that. I was thinking recognition, but repetition is just where they're going to go ahead and be saying after you. Hop, mop. And you can always help your child by going up, up, hop, mop, right? You can always do things like that. Ran, fan, and they'll say ran, fan, and ran, fan. The next one would be onset and fluency. Onset fluency, which onset just simply means, and there's a glossary of terms in here, onset means anything that comes before that first vowel. So in the word jump, j, fall, off, quick, qua, because it's qua, ick, qua. Funny, because it's before that first vowel, gum, g. It will go through all of these. There are about 8 different skills that it covers. So 6 of them are phonemic awareness skills, and 2 of them are like literacy readiness kind of things. And again, you will also be able to find people who have done beautiful examples of how they actually do phonemic awareness on the Heggerty YouTube channel. You can also find people and see how they did it with their individual kids who are not necessarily connected with Heggerty. But the steps in being able to figure out where your child is in terms of their phonemic awareness skills is to make sure that you test their phonemic awareness skills accurately. So you can always do a test run on a friend or on another child who you don't have so many concerns about. So get familiar and comfortable with the tests. And then I really do recommend the Heggerty for being able to do it in a systematic way that is not overly complicated. Kilpatrick requires a little bit more professional insight. It's a little bit more difficult to use, but Heggerty is very, very, very user-friendly for those of us who are at home. Thank you so much. I hope this has been helpful. And again, this is Aviva with Literacy Unlocked.